Welcome to another episode of The Brand Called You, a podcast and podcast show that brings you leadership lessons, knowledge, experience, and wisdom from hundreds of successful individuals from around the world. I am your host, Ashutosh Garg, and today I'm delighted to welcome a very accomplished entrepreneur who's building a social network for women, Ragini Das. Ragini, welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you so much, Ashutosh. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Ragini, as I mentioned, is the co-founder of Leap Club, which is a social and professional network for women. And she was earlier with Zomato. So Ragini, let's talk about Leap Club. Tell me about this venture.
So let me start with a little bit about me and then tell you a little bit about how Leap started, right? So I'm Ragini. I'm a Malayali. I was born in Delhi, but I've grown up all over India. My dad was in the army, so I've pretty much moved around all my life.
Which corps? I've got to ask you this. Which corps was your dad in?
He was in ASC.
Okay, because my dad also was in the army.
EMT. Oh, nice. Nice. I like you more now.
I was going to say the same thing.
It always happens, though. There's this
special bond with army kids. Yeah.
Always. So I graduated in 2012 with a business degree. I went to Ludhiana to actually work with a manufacturing company. I think in a year, I realized it was not what I wanted to do. And no matter how many cities you've lived in, I think when you start working, it's slightly different. So Zomato happened for me in pretty early back in 2013. So I spent 6 amazing years there. I worked across various sales, growth, engagement roles. This was across, geographies and verticals. So lots of learnings. So even in my last stint, I was leading international expansion for one of their subscription programs called Zomato Gold. So scaled that to 2 million users, took that to 10 countries. So all of that happened, but early 2020, in fact, December 2019, Jan 2020 is when I quit Zomato to take the entrepreneurial plunge, which I'll be honest, Ashutosh, I hadn't thought about maybe a year before that, right? That's when Leap started. And then obviously the world changed, but Leap Club is basically a community-led professional network for women. We have a very simple mission. It's more women in leadership positions. And how we do that is by enabling strong one-on-one connections with relevant people within the network. We have micro communities, which are based on people's professional and social interests. So there's everything from women in product, in tech, in HR to your yoga clubs or your crypto clubs or plant moms or pet moms and stuff like that. We also provide these leaders with L&D tools to help them live their best professional life. So now whether that's executive coaching or masterclasses with industry leaders or cohort-based courses. So that's in a nutshell what we do at Leap.
Fantastic. And a question which what came to my mind was that why have you restricted this only for women?
If I have to take a shot every time someone asks me that question. So I'll just start with some very basic stats, right? 8% women in India are in leadership positions.
Right.
9% startups are run by women. Less than 2% of them get funded. In the last 1 year, 1 out of 3 mothers have considered leaving the workforce because of COVID. We still, and global numbers is we still get paid 65% of what our male counterparts do to perform the same work, right? Does everyone need to build a solid network in their careers? 100%, right? This is gender agnostic. Do women need it slightly more? No one's going to say no, right? Sure. So I think I'll also use this to call out what we're not, right? Like one, yes, we're building for women because people pick, say, a strata of society, or they pick an age group, they pick all of that. We pick the gender, right? But what we're not, Ashutosh, is one, we're not social charity. A lot of people come and tell me, oh, I love your cause. And I'm just like, I'm not a cause, right? We're paid from day one. Members pay us 5,000 rupees annually to be a part of this network. We have 2,000 members today who are paying us from the last 1.5 years almost now. 12,000 of them are on the wait list waiting to join, right? So that's one. Two, we're not about male bashing. My co-founder is a man. A lot of my trainers, coaches, people who come for our masterclasses, they are men. So yes, we need equality and we need men and women to come together for gender equality to become a reality. we're just building for women first.
Okay.
That's our take on it.
Okay, wonderful. I fully appreciate, and I agree completely with you about the gender inequality, the imbalance, and I'm so happy you're doing something like this, because I'm a very great believer in what you're doing. Fantastic.
I love that. We need more men like you.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. So let's talk networking. How important is networking for us professionally and personally? Because I speak to a lot of people, and they say, well, let my work speak for itself. If my work is good enough, people will find me. And I tell them, no, you've got to talk about it.
It never speaks for itself, does it?
Uh-huh.
So I think my take here again, Ashutosh, is with my limited experience, right? I think meeting new people, building relationships, it's just so important to your career success, right? And it's true what they say, your network is your net worth. I also feel networking has a terrible connotation to it today. I mean, I read the word and I get exhausted and I'm just like, why, right? But I feel everything, like every single connection that we make today, even this, right? It goes a very, very long way in your professional career and also personally. You don't know who can help you where, right? I remember when we started talking about LEAP, our main problem statement was not, okay, what should we build for women? Our main problem statement was professional networking is so broken, right? And this is it's a gender agnostic thing, like I said. Most platforms that we have today, they're so cluttered. They optimize for likes and shares and connections. And we're not about that at all. We're all about the curation, and we want to solve for that exactly, right? So yes, we have business partnerships, we have hiring, we have mentoring, we have all of that happening at LEAP, which is the professional side of networking. But we also have crypto clubs. We also have yoga groups. We have gin and wine clubs, which is how I met Mithali, who connected us, right? So every small connection, I think, just grows you so much professionally and personally.
Amazing. So for someone who is not so well networked, and again, I'm being gender agnostic.
Absolutely.
How does one start to network better? I mean, should I start collecting more visiting cards, or should I, start clicking many more?
Can't even do that in COVID.
Or just more connect options, clicking more connects on LinkedIn, or should I start looking for more followers? How do I network better?
So I think the first and foremost, and I'm glad you brought that up, right? Like the first and foremost is what I've learned is the giver's mindset, right? Why LinkedIn today isn't a community, so to speak, and it's more of it's become a taking platform, right? How many times have we reached out to someone and said, this is what I can help you with, let me help you, right? So I think whenever we reach out to someone or we want to connect with someone, just always have that giver's mindset. Take out time for it more periodically, whether that's weekly, fortnightly, monthly, whatever it looks like for you. Don't do it when you need something, when you need a job, when you want something, right? So I think just make it about learning, helping, asking for help at the right time.
Right.
Also, I genuinely think this time is money, right? And I know you've learned this in everything that you've done in your life as well. I think just always be mindful of someone's time. So if you have to do a call out the agenda. Say, I need X minutes of you to do this versus, hi, can we jam? Hi, can we collaborate? Hi, can we do? So I think just choice of words and how you position this thing and always give.
Very interesting. And another question that I've often been asked is, at what stage should I start networking?
If you're not doing it today, the answer is today, right? And if you're a woman, please join LEAP.club. But I think every day we spend not focusing on that. And I'll just be very honest with you. My 6 years at Zomato, I don't think I invested so much in that, right? I maybe in the last year, I started cold emailing a lot. I started reaching out to people a lot. You would be surprised how many people are willing to help. Right. I remember cold writing to Ankur Variku, and he had no business to entertain me, but he did, right? And he's always been a supporter of what we've done. right? He's whether I've called him for a masterclass, whether we've done a cohort-based course with him, whether it's just something I want to pick his brain on. I think us holding ourselves back and not putting ourselves out there, just not the right way to go about it. Like you said, right? Like work will never speak for itself. And we just always have to have a personality outside of our, this is what I do at work.
Very interesting. So I've got to share something when I was much younger. And, I'm talking 40 years ago when I was working for ITC. I was executive assistant to a very senior guy and an American who was here in ITC for some time. And he told me that if you don't blow your own trumpet, nobody else will blow it for you. Right? And I'm sure you've heard this one. Yeah. But a few years later, I realized the corollary to that, which is if you don't blow your own trumpet, nobody will hear it from you, but don't blow it so hard that it hurts people's ears.
Yeah.
So I think that's an important factor in networking, isn't it?
This is a very thin line also, right? Don't blow your trumpet in a way that it looks like only you are. Yes, work speaks for itself. Like today, I think most of my wait list, yes, it's because of the social noise we create, do all of that, right? But I think members also post about Leap. They talk about Leap, right? So I think for us, that has been super, super important. But today, I'll be honest, Ashutosh, if I don't talk about it, no one's going to also start talking about my work.
Sure. Very good. And, you're a millennial and
I'm glad I'm considered that.
Well, I figured you said you got 10, 12 years experience, so you must be a millennial, right?
Yeah.
All of you are, I've always said millennials are really changing the world. But let's first talk about the importance millennials and Gen Zs have placed on social media. How important is social media to build networks? And give me some examples if you have any.
So I think, let me share my two larger learnings while building this community of women, right? I think first and foremost for us, it was go after a real problem, go after a common mission. It just helps tie everything together.
Right.
Second for us was building this network or building this community from day one is just not going to be enough. You have to enable learning. You have to feel, your members have to feel like they're participating, they're winning, right? So I think for us, how we at Leap, or how I, as the founder of Leap, use social media is I use it to spread the word, right? But everything that I do after, which is the curation and everything after, it's real blood, sweat, tears, and a crazy amount of self-motivation, right? There is no single playbook that you do this. And of course, it's helpful, we can this thing on a LinkedIn and a Twitter and all of that, but of course it helps spread the word.
And is there any specific set of social media platforms that you are biased towards?
I love Twitter.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Instagram's great, but I use it for seeing food photos. But I think for me, a lot of my immediate knowledge, whether that's following the right trends and all of that, comes from Twitter. I've also taken a conscious call of Ashutosh following stuff that grows me, following stuff that inspires me. Following stuff that it's not riff-raff. So I will skip following political parties because of course it riles me up and I have very, very strong views there. I will start following stuff I want to learn about. So for example, if I want to learn about crypto or startups or marketing or, whatever it is, I follow those things and I follow people who inspire me versus use Twitter as a rant to talk about a brand or any of that. So I'm very, very biased to Twitter. I do a lot of hiring from Twitter as well. So I think that's the PG I prefer.
Okay.
But of course, just talking from a work and Leap point of view, I think LinkedIn's of course big for us. It's where most of the audience is. Instagram's great with millennials and Gen Z specifically. So if I want to target that particular group, that's who I go after.
And as you said very rightly, if you want to put food photos, then Instagram is right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So two more questions related to Leap Club, and then we move to a few questions for you personally.
Okay.
I was reading about Leap Club, Leap.club, and I was also been listening to what you are saying. What would you say are a few specific differences that Leap.club has, other than, of course, being gender specific?
Yeah.
What would you say as some of these, differences with as compared to other networks?
So, Ashutosh, I'm a big Brian Chesky girl. We continue to have a very, very early Airbnb approach to how we build Leap, right? We speak to every single customer before onboarding them, whether it's Mitali or Lulu or everyone else who's also been a part of the show, right? And who are members. And I know this sounds absurd in 2021, but I have a sales team that does this day in and day out. There is a very clear expectation setting. And that givers mindset that I spoke about, which I think is the core of the community we're trying to build, at least, right? We call it out that we need them to build Leap with us versus just for them. And we obsess over customer feedback, right? We have, like I said, 2,000 women who are building this with us, and that's our moat. These 2,000 will become 10,000, it will become 100,000. And yes, we will change rails. We will, make tweaks, we'll do all of that. But I think for us, we have a lot of people who reach out to us and say, okay, what's the secret sauce? What's setting you all apart? Why are people, giving you all so much love? But there are no shortcuts. There's a lot of hard work. And I think most importantly, there is a lot of patience, which if you know me, I don't have. But when it comes to building Leap, I really do have, right? Because it's so easy to do the fast thing. I mean, I've grown Zomato Gold to 1 million members. It takes me this to open a membership on the website and get greedy and do all of that. But we're literally doing the hard thing right now, going the way we are right now. But I also think it really makes us build right. And yeah, I think that those are two things that really set us apart from any other networks today.
Amazing. And we spoke a little bit about millennials and the Gen Zs, but tell me, how are the younger generation, how are they adapting to becoming a part of communities and networks? I mean, when I speak to a lot of people, they say, we have to focus on our career. We will think of networks later, MBA and everything else, and then later we'll do. Your thoughts?
Some of the smartest brains I've met while building this community of thousands of women are the young leaders, right? And I'll give you some example. I have a 25-year-old climate activist who runs her own menstrual cup company. I have a 23-year-old who's an All India rifle shooter. She is a consultant at the Big Four. She is also working on a sports startup with someone in Tokyo.
Wow.
Right? I think this generation, and I'm just talking Gen Z specifically here, I think they're 10x smarter than at least what my generation was at that age, right?
I shudder to think what they would be of my generation.
But whether if it's about, how seriously they take their careers or their take on everything that's happening around them right now, right from politics to what's trending to networking. Unfortunately, I always say this to my co-founder, I think in today's shape and form, Ashutosh, Leap doesn't cater to the 20, 21-year-olds, right? I'm very keen on building a Leap for them. In my head, I already call it Leap Scholars, and we'll speak about this at the right time. But I think this is the millennial and the Gen Z generations, a very, very hot target audience. And these people are really willing to learn and invest in themselves. Of the 12,000 people, like every day, I would get at least like 40, 50 people in colleges, right out of colleges, write to me with proper videos, emails saying we really want to be a part of this. So yeah, with a very heavy heart today, I say no, but here's to hopefully building something for them very soon.
Amazing. So Ragini, I'm now going to move to the next segment of our conversation, which are some questions for you personally.
Okay.
Our viewers and listeners love to get to know my guest a little better. So my first question to you is, and again, in your very short career so far, what would you say are some of your key milestones or pivot points?
So many pivots. But I think this is how I look at it, Ashutosh. I think everything happened for me at the right time, right? whether it was my first job that I did not enjoy very much, whether it was an internship at Standard Chartered, where I met someone whose brother worked in this food tech startup which had bean bags and they were collecting menus, and that's how Zomato happened for me, right? Whether it was meeting my co-founder at my time at Zomato, right? So I think everything was a pivot, everything was a turning point, everything was a learning. But like, if I have to force rank, my biggest milestone and turning point would be me taking that entrepreneurial plunge, right? And I wouldn't change a day of it, even the hard ones. And I was just telling this to someone this morning who is planning to, quit her job and start her own thing. I was like, as a founder, you will hit the wall every day. Sure. Every week I wake up one day and I'm just like, we should just shut this, right? Like, so all of that, right? Like it really gets to you. I wouldn't change a day of it though.
Fabulous. My next question is that, you're building an amazing network or an amazing platform. What are some of the core values you believe in as you're building this?
I have three very clear answers, and they've not changed, by the way, for me for a while. One is honesty, right? Like, I think honesty and discipline are, as in army kids, just self-explanatory, instilled. Second for me is contrary to popular belief, right? I think there's so much said about smart work versus hard work, and I 100% believe in it, right? I think there are no shortcuts to hard work in life. And of course, smart work is very, very important. But my personal belief is that hard work trumps everything, at work, in relationships, in life, everywhere. Third, which I personally think, touchwood, and I hope I can continue this, is my biggest moat, is speed of execution.
Okay.
I think it can really set you apart from everybody else.
Correct.
So those are my top three: honesty, hard work, and speed of execution.
Terrific. Moving forward, from where you stand today, and you've got a long and successful life, I'm sure, ahead. What does success mean to Ragini today?
Oh, this answer has changed very recently, actually. It's peace of mind. I've learned it, like I said, very, very late in life, and maybe this changes next year, in 5 years or whatever. But today, what I really aspire for is just peace of mind and not being in this rut all the time. That's something I'm really hoping I get to ASAP.
Terrific. Two more questions for you.
Absolutely.
My next question is, who or what inspires you?
Lots of men and women inspire me, people-wise. But I think what really keeps me on my toes and inspires me every day is just work. Now, whether that's Leap, whether that's Zomato, whether that's anything I do, I think for me, it's very weird, like people say, oh, what are your hobbies, this, that. And I'm just like, I really, really enjoy working. I don't think twice before opening my laptop at 7 a.m. I can be at it on a Saturday or a Sunday and not in a, oh my God, there is so much work. But I genuinely, really, really enjoy working. And it could be something as small as like fixing a bulb. But like, you give me some work and I enjoy doing it.
Fabulous. Fabulous. And my last question to you, and this is a question I ask a lot of people. This is a question on failure. My last book was on failure also. I've often said that parents in India or Asia don't teach children it's okay to fail. They're always told, class mein first out, go to the head of the line, etc., etc., and that manifests.
Become head girl, become this.
Correct, right? And yet we fail, we learn. So my question to you is, what have been some of your learnings from some of your mistakes?
So I think while there are learnings, I also want to call out, I thankfully lucked out with parents who didn't put that pressure on me. It was okay to be an average student. If you're great at something, you're great at something. Yes, we did do all the horse riding and the swimming and the tennis and the golf and all of that super early in our career, but it was never a do science, do this. It was always do what you want. Even when I wanted to quit a job that I was doing really well at, do what you want, right? Worst case, what happens? It doesn't work. Fast forward to my last 1 year, which has obviously not been all success. Like I said, you see failure every day. Every day as a founder, you fail, right? But I think overall, what I've learned so far, I'm also hoping to change is, one is entrepreneurship is very lonely, right? I think so taking out time for family and friends and your personal cheerleaders, right, is very, very important. Two, and I know I said like I love working and I open my laptop at 6 a.m., 7 a.m., all of that, but hustle without breaks is overrated and not advisable at all. Because burnouts are real. Doesn't matter if you're 24, you're 30, you're 45, you're 50, you can, like, that burnout is real for everyone. Three is also, I feel what I didn't do enough was I didn't take out time to celebrate milestones. I wish I did more of that in life, right? Like, it's always one after the other. What next? So yeah, I think those were my learnings.
Fascinating. Ragini, thank you so much. It's been such a pleasure speaking to you. Thank you.
Likewise. It's been a great start to my morning.
Thank you. And thank you for taking me through, what you're doing at Leap Club. My big takeaway from you, from what that one discussion is that be a giver. I think that's so well said. Thank you again and good luck.
Thank you so much, Ashutosh.
Thank you for listening to The Brand Called You videocast and podcast, a platform that brings you knowledge, experience, and wisdom of hundreds of successful individuals from around the world. Do visit our website www.tbcy.in to watch and listen to the stories of many more individuals. You can also follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Just search for The Brand Called You.